There you go.
Right, perfect. Yesterday in our class, we went over a lot of stuff. And then after class, we sit back and Andrea said, you know what, let's focus. We're giving you a lot of information today, but we're going to break it down. And we want you to focus on the coat. On the coat. And we'll reemphasize that. Focus on the coat, and everything else that we give you today can come later. So Andrea, do you want to get started?
Sure.
Okay. Hi, Marge.
I decided to come back again.
That's all right.
That's fine, because you gave a lot of information yesterday, and I think I can do a little bit better on one of the stitches. So yes.
All right.
Before you start, I do have a question for Michelle on the threads. You refer to a red silk lame for the coat.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same as down under tree and ornaments? There are 2 red silk lames in there. Is it the same as one of those?
Yes.
Or a different one?
Yes. We've
Okay.
yes, we've done some replacements along the way.
Okay.
Because we weren't able to get things in. So if you have a red silk lame,
I have 2 of them.
that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. You're
Okay.
good.
I might pick up another one when I come to the store just to make sure there's enough.
Good luck finding one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Which is why you guys all didn't get the same color red silk lame.
Okay.
Okay. It's due, hopefully it will come in this week, but
Oh, okay.
but in the next day or so. All right,
Yeah.
take it away, Andrea.
Okay, so here we go. Once again, this is strictly a guide. You can be like Shelly and do a different stitch.
Hi, Shelley.
Right there.
What stitch is she doing?
Okay, it was a lot of information yesterday, so we'll go over everything again today, but really want you just to concentrate on the coat. Then next week, we will go back and again we'll move to the next one and really focus more on the fur and the trim. So we're going to break it down week by week, but for those that stitch a lot faster, you have something extra to work on, or if you get bored of the coat, you can move on and do, the mittens or the hat, because they're in a different stitch. So
Coats and mittens or hat?
yes. So are you good? You're
Yeah, I
listening?
just want to take a picture of that.
Yeah, tomorrow's just going to take a quick picture.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Tamara. I have your stuff in the back room somewhere.
She has your stuff in the back room.
Oh, okay. The stuff I set aside?
The
What?
stuff that, no, the stuff that, the threads you needed.
Your extra threads.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I thought my finishing was in. Huh.
That's a joke too. Okay, so on the coat, there are 2 different stitches. There's the stitch that came off of the flag from Jerry's class. And then there's also the Morris stitch. So I did one and Michelle did the other one. They can both be done either with just the thread works, or they can also, with a small stitch on both of those, you can add the sparkle, which would be either one of the silk lames you got in your kit. Just whichever one you prefer to do. So the first one starts in the upper right-hand corner of the front coat on the left-hand side. So you're going to start it right up underneath. And get it off. Not sure where I am here because I don't have the close-up today. So you're going to start it right here underneath the cuff.
Okay.
See right there underneath the cuff, and you're gonna run your first row of stitches are going to just run straight down to the edge of the coat. Do I need to come closer?
Yeah.
This is with your stitch, Andrea, or the Morris, or either?
Actually, it works for both.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just going to start one spot, and you're going to run it all the way down, and that is going to be your line up, your row that's going to set up the rest of them. Because once you get the one row set up, then you're good to go for the other rows.
Right.
And so then we're just using the over die to put in shading rather than doing any different colors for the shading.
Correct. Your shading will come from the over die thread as opposed to as opposed to using so many different threads to get the shading.
Okay, great.
So yes,
So
Yeah,
if
when
you use the red lame for the small little stitches, do you have both of your threads on a needle at the same time?
yes, I run 2 threads at once. I first start with, I can't see what you guys can see, so if I don't have it right. So you start with the
Right.
2 on the top, and you're
Yep.
gonna do the 2, then you're gonna come back and do the 3 that starts directly underneath the 2. And then your next 2 will then come at the bottom of the 3.
Okay.
And then you'll start your 3. So what I did was I did a complete row of thread works. Then I
Okay,
went back and I added in my one little row, my one little stitch of the sparkly.
okay,
And then I would then, and then it just sets it up for the next row. And I would again just run the row of the long stitch in the thread works. And then I would go back and run the short stitch. And I would kind of alternate. So I would do a whole line of one and then do a whole line of the other. Because
Andrea,
I found if I did all the long stitches, I was missing the short stitches when I was trying to come back and find them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I found it easier to do them back to back.
So did
Kathy had a
you,
question.
so you're ignoring the sleeve. You don't turn and do the sleeve.
I'm getting
Oh,
to that.
sorry, so you're talking about just the front of the robe, not the sleeve parts.
Correct.
Yes.
That's just the front and the back. And in the back, you will find the middle of the back. So you'll find the middle in the back, which is just almost at the corner of the pouch. And you're going to run it in opposite directions.
Oh,
So
okay.
on the front, you're running it from the right to left. And on the other side, you're going to run it from left to right. So they're going to be going in opposite directions
Okay.
in order to delineate each side.
Beth has a question.
Okay.
Andrea, I'm just looking at my picture here that shows Andrea's stitch. So there's a over 2, over 1, and then it looks like over 3 or 4.
Over 3, yes.
Over 3. So is the over 3 the thread works every time? And then the sparkle or whatever other sparkly color, the over 2, over 1?
The over 2, over 3 are the thread works. And your sparkly is the over 1.
Okay, thank you. So I can
Yeah.
run 2 needles at once.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank
And
you.
we will, if you want close-up pictures, all right, so when I sent you the email, they're all done in JPEG, so you can actually pull the picture out. However, if you want me to text you pictures of all of this, I will do so. You just send me your, just send me a text or something, and I will make sure that you get, you will get it.
Okay.
And then on the sleeve, what you're going to do is you're going to then run it in the opposite direction of where you ran it on the coat. So if the coat's going from right to left, your sleeve is going to go from left to right.
so the sleeve and the lower side of the right-hand side of the coat are going in the same direction. The
Yes.
sleeve on the top left and
Yes.
the
Correct.
coat on the
Yes.
lower right. Okay,
Yes. Yes. And then that delineates, so your sleeve looks different than the coat. So it separates out the two so you can distinguish them.
Did you turn your canvas sideways to stitch the sleeves?
I didn't, but that's a great idea.
Okay, so which one is the coat is which one?
So this is Andrea's stitch. This is my stitch. That is this one. And when we're all done, I'll go back over it with you since you were running late. Yeah.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. The second stitch. Does anyone have questions on that stitch?
No.
Okay, the second stitch is the Morris stitch, which is Michelle's stitch. And I had it in the stitches to go and somebody put it up. Okay, so the Morris stitch, you have the 2, you come over the 1, then you go over 2, then you go over 3, then come over 2, then go over 1.
And the more stitch is in stitches to go.
More
Yes,
stitches and stitches to go, and it just keeps repeating. And you again just start in one corner and work your way down. And then there's a continental stitch between each of those big, they're almost like a souffle stitch,
Yeah, it looks like it.
but not as repeating as a souffle stitch. If you wanted to add some sparkle to this, you would again add it in the 1 stitch
Okay.
between each one, depending on how much sparkle you want.
My canvas has a, almost looks like a little cross hanging under his sleeve. Did you stitch?
I was
over-
gonna ask that too.
Yeah, I'm getting there next.
Oh, sorry.
A couple of people have stitched that in either their fry works or panache or whatever they have in their stash. You're welcome to stitch the cross, or you can stitch over the cross.
it really is. I think what it really is just a crease in the jacket.
Yeah,
I
and
thought it
look-
was the actual cross hanging off his belt.
And some
Yeah.
people, I don't know, but and some people have chosen to make it that way, which is totally fine. So just, I would do it in the fry works in the 13, in the black.
To match the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on the Morris stitch? Whew. Okay, now on the front, you're going to have to stitch over the red bow here with your coat. And you're going to stitch over the part of the green bow following the line of the coat in this corner. So you're going to stitch over those 2 areas on the front. And then we're going
Basically
to
just cover
replace
up.
those with, we're going to replace those with bows later that will sit on top, 3D bows.
Oh, okay.
So anything, yeah, so anything there, you're going to stitch over on the front. On the back,
Just the bows, not the
You're just-
package.
Yes.
yes, just what covers the coat, whatever's covered, painted that's covering the coat, you're going to stitch over and put coat. And that's why you need to have a picture of it, a Xerox copy or a picture of it, so you know what you've covered and where it is, just
So
for a reference.
On the left side, Andrea, where there's a red bow and there's a striped package, do you also cover up the top of the striped package?
No, you just cover the bow.
Okay, but leave the striped package intact,
Yes, because the
Yes.
package sits in front of Santa's coat. So
right?
you just want to stitch the bow up above it, and we will
Okay.
actually stitch the package over the bow as well. So
Okay,
you'll square off that package eventually, and the bow will completely go away.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Then on the back side, we're going to stitch over the tassel on Santa's hat,
Oh,
and we're going to stitch over the tassel at the bottom of the bag.
They will be back.
They will come back. We're going to actually make tassels and attach them to those areas. Yes. So they everything we're stitching over will come back in one way or another. Yes.
so I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you stitch over the tassel on the hat, are you stitching that as the coat or as the sleeve?
I'm
It's as a
stitching
sleeve.
that as I stitched it as the sleeve. Yes.
Okay,
So, because on the Morris stitch, the sleeves are going horizontal,
right.
okay? Whereas on Andrea's stitch, they don't. So you're gonna stitch over it. And even on what she's showing you now is, I forgot to do the little dot on the back. Andrea, move it over to the left a little bit. There you go. The little dot in the back. So I have to go put my stitch in there, but that will get covered up as well. So your
The green
whole
dot
body-
gets covered?
that, yeah,
Okay.
that little green dot outside of the sack.
Are we covering it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yes.
basically we cover the whole back, right?
Yes.
Now,
Well,
if you're going to, and I think most of us are going to do your pouch loose, and you're going to stitch the pouch on later, you also need to go over 2 extra rows on the pouch with the coat in order to attach the pouch into the coat so that you don't see any of the white.
So go inside.
I had
So you do
Yes, you're
two
gonna go
extra
inside
rows
the
of
white.
red.
So with the red coat, you're gonna come inside the pouch by 2 rows.
Okay.
So pretty much where the gray shading is around the edge of the pouch.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, because when I was attaching the pouch, I had to go back and add red stitches to cover the white. And so it's gonna be easier for you all if you go ahead and stitch over that.
So
that
as
little
I'm
part.
looking at this picture too, I was literally just going to cover the white tassel, but you covered the red dot and the green and white too.
The
Right.
green dot gets covered, yes.
No, the red dot and the green and white that are the top of the tassel. Yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
do the white part, but you covered the green and the red too, right?
Mhm.
I covered the whole tassel, yes.
Okay.
And then we'll take a ribbon, and then when we finish the tassel, when you finish the tassel, you can take a ribbon, either one that's in your bag or a decorative one that you might have at home or find, that you can then wrap your tassel in place of the green. Will then
And
be
do we
a
cover the
ribbon.
holly too?
Yes.
Yes,
You're covering
on
the
the hat?
holly. Oh,
yeah,
Is there
I'll
gonna
get to
be
the hat in just a second. Yeah,
Andrea,
will
show
the holly
yours.
be back?
hold on, got a question here in the room.
Stitching something over. Didn't see
Yes,
what
so
you're
we're gonna
doing.
stitch over the tassel.
Okay, both tassels.
Yes, we're gonna stitch over both tassels on the back. And then you're gonna stitch 2 rows inside the sack, an extra 2 rows.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And then on this side, you will stitch over the green and the red there. Yes.
Not the green that goes into the.
Cool. Yeah, you'll cover that. We'll cover that with the fur. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on the coat?
Just Andrea, on the sleeve in the back, is there some subtle shading to show where it is
Your change in direction of your coat will
on the,
be the distinction between coat and sleeve.
right, the sleeve gets stitched differently from the coat, right?
It gets stitched in a different direction.
So
And
the
the more
side that has the green dot, how do I know where the sleeve on the back is?
On the right
kinda-
side.
You kind of have to just guess. Most of that is
Okay,
sleeve. You just kind of have to, because if my arm is hanging down
yeah,
and his pouch is covering his back, then most of that coming down the back of his, halfway down the back of the sack is going to be sleeve.
okay, so there's sort of a true red
Yeah,
between two darkers, so that may be the start of the sleeve and just go all the way up with it?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay,
yeah, because then it looks even with the sleeve on the other side.
this side, okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
Yes. Good question.
Could I see your tassel at the bottom? On the back?
Yes.
It's
So
fine.
when you're going over the green and the red dots and the red dot.
Yes, ma'am. Cover the whole tassel.
Okay, but that will be back along with the holly leaves.
Yes. The
Okay.
holly on the hat. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second.
So when we finish doing our back, we should have nothing that's not red underneath the pouch.
Yes,
Correct.
except for the
Correct.
fur.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah.
And then the fur will also cover, well, I've already put my bows on. The fur will also cover the fur will also cover your bows on both sides. And then the bows will come back
And
Right.
go
and
on
sit on
top.
top.
I see that.
Okay.
Yes.
It does help. My sister sent me pictures of yours and Michelle's, Andrea, and it does help to be able to open them up and really look at them.
Awesome.
So if anybody
Yeah, we're
wants
happy
them,
to-
like I said, I
Yeah.
can text them over to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's another close up, kind of slow moving.
It's just beautiful.
Anybody else?
Now that pouch, that's,
Okay.
you've attached the pouch there, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I have. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the attached pouch. And when you attach it, yeah, that's why you have to go, because it'll get attached on the back.
Yeah.
Yes. It should have been in your bag.
Can I see that? Can you lift it up so I can see the bottom underneath the pouch?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, so we good on the coat? Candy? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kathy, did you have a question?
No, I'm taking a picture of my tassel so I can maybe do some beading on the top of the tassel to match what it
Oh,
is.
cool.
Okay. So from there, we'll move on to the hat. So the hat can be done in either the over dyed, or you could pick one of the two vineyard colors you got in your bag. And I think it was either chili and or lipstick.
It was claret or lipstick.
Claret or lipstick. Chili is the pepper pot. If you do the first stitch, you will have enough of the thread work left over to do the hat. With the Morris stitch, you might not have enough to do the hat as well, but we've got some on order if you want to go that route, and we can always, get you another one.
But it's
if you
kind of
need.
cool to have a different texture for the hat than the coat too.
Yeah, and actually, and here it is different. There's the front, and then there's the back, done in a different shade. A solid where the coat's in the over dyed, as opposed to this one that has
The over
it
dye.
done in the same as the coat.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's your difference in the two.
And it's just
For
a
reference.
vertical brick. And you want to make sure that you do that vertical brick on both sides of the hat.
Yes. So so it is a vertical brick. It's over 2, or you can go over 3 or over 4, whatever you want to go over. Michelle's is over 2, mine is over, I think, 4. But yeah, it is vertical on both the front and the back. You can, and then get back to the right side. On the holly on the top, you're welcome to stitch that if you prefer to have the holly on there. I felt like it was a bit distracting from his face, so I stitched over the holly, but that is certainly, and if you wanted to stitch the green, make sure you take a picture, and then we could attach a sequin and a bead for the red holly berries, which would be cute on there as well.
And what somebody else is doing is they're going to do the top of his hat, the white part of his hat. They're going to do that in a horizontal brick because they are stitching the holly.
Perfect. Yes.
And that will allow them to compensate for
Okay.
that holly.
So any questions on the hat?
For
Or
On the
vertical?
white part of the hat.
No, on the red
Or
part.
the red. It can be either
But
horizontal or vertical. Saying it would compensate.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
for
may
the
be,
holiday.
yeah.
So was it horizontal brick?
Hey, Michelle, were they doing the horizontal brick on the hat or on the,
On the
fur
brim
trim
of the hat, on the
On
fur.
the rim? Yes.
And
But
then
you
she was gonna
pay-
do it with a little bit of whisper in it.
Yes, okay. I'm gonna skip to the mitten for a second. There's one. It's holding a candy cane. Don't worry about the candy cane, we'll beat it later. The,
Stitch over it or?
no, just, it's just there. So the glove is done in the knitted stitch. If you start in the middle of the glove and run it down as your first stitch, and then work the rest of the knitting stitch on either side of that one. And you use that in your green pepper pot or your green vineyard. If you happen to have some green velvet at home, feel free to use it as well. Yes, we did stitch over the red squares. You're welcome to stitch those if you would like.
And I suggest doing a French knot with those over the stitch.
And if, yeah, she said you could also, and then in place of the red square, you could do a French knot.
Did you
Yes.
actually do the diagonal knit stitch or did you do the vertical knit stitch?
I did
Diagonal.
a diagonal. Yeah,
And Michelle, is the vineyard silk shamrock the substitute for the green pepper pot?
Yes.
yes. Okay, let's switch to beard, mustache, and hair. They're done in the Bella Lusa, with or without whisper. The mustache starts at the middle little lip piece and works out in each direction for a mustache.
The name of the stitch is Bella Lusa?
No, the thread you use is Bella Lusa, and then we're going to be using long and short stitches.
Okay.
Yes. So the beard, Michelle did hers, her beard in the direction that a beard would fall down off the face. And she did hers in long stitches. And it looks awesome. And then the other option is to do it in long and short stitches.
Both were padded?
Michelle did not pad hers, but I did pad mine. So what I did was I did a lot of layers, and I actually put some layers of the vineyard wool underneath and then put the Bella Lusa on top to give it more poof. So I just did some long stitches up underneath and then put the short stitches randomly on top of those longer stitches.
Okay, so you didn't do a traditional padding going horizontal and then,
Now, I just did it,
Okay.
yeah, just did it in the same direction.
okay.
Yes.
And you use this one.
Yes, for the underneath, yes. Okay. Now on his hair on the back, any questions on the mustache or beard?
Could you just repeat what you did and what Michelle did? I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. I did long and short stitches on the beard
And padded.
and I padded it. So I put a lot of layers up underneath and some longer stitches up underneath and then put my shorter stitches up on top to make it more poofed out.
So when you're padding, are you putting your padding stitches horizontal and then your long and short vertical?
I did more of a diagonal stitch up underneath, more so than just a true horizontal. I went
Okay.
more to diagonal underneath and ran it more
Okay.
like a long woodland stitch underneath.
All right.
like a goblin over 3 or 4 and just ran it down and then put my short stitches on top.
And Michelle, did you pad yours?
Nope.
Michelle did not pad hers, and then she did hers in long stitches.
And again,
And I
you're
just
going
kept going
low,
over
right?
until I got the width, till I got the puff that I want.
Yes. So if you need to, you can double up the Bella Lusa and do it 2 strands to get it poofed up faster than
And
one
you
strand.
mix the whisper in with the Bella Lusa?
Went
Yes.
back once it was all done because went back afterwards and added the whisper
Okay,
where I wanted the whisper on top. I didn't do a lot of the whisper on the underneath parts. I really wanted the whisper on the top parts.
right, okay.
And you want to
That
make
makes
sure
sense.
that you do whatever you're doing in red first, because the whisper does shed the whisper does shed. And you just don't want it up in a stitch that's
Sorry.
red.
Okay.
That's all right. This is a lot.
It is.
This is a lot to take in.
Okay, so are we good there?
So should we do the hat before we do the hair?
Yes.
Any questions,
Yes.
anybody?
Yes, do all the reds. Yes, so do your hat before you start your beard and mustache so you don't get the red mixed in with your white.
And the red is not coming from the white.
No, it does not.
Okay.
I have proof of that.
But sometimes it
And,
does.
and the
There's
red and
proof.
the green on the package that's on the front?
The red and the green on the package.
Don't worry about that. You're just worrying about the hat and the
Don't worry about
coat.
Okay, okay, so,
Okay.
because the whisper won't bleed into that,
No.
okay.
It'll be far enough away. Okay, now on to the fur. And again, we know this is a lot for today. We're just going to quickly go over it. And then next week we will go over it a little bit heavier, but this gives you some stuff to work on between now and then.
Oh my gosh.
Focus on the coat, Beth. Focus on the coat.
Those are big time.
No, we don't. No, yeah.
You can, great. No problem. Go to seventh class. Okay. I don't
Okay.
think so.
So again, back to the fur on the hat. I padded and Michelle did not. So Michelle just ran hers, long stitches, until she got the poofy that she wanted on hers.
And you haven't even sent us the stitching for the fur, have you? I just lost it.
We're on hat. We're on the fur, the trim,
Yeah.
which is done. So the
Oh,
trim is padded in the vineyard. The fur is trimmed on the front side of the coat, the collars, the bottom of the coat, and the cuffs.
yeah, I found it.
Okay, it's padded with the vineyard wool, and then you'll go over it with the essentials with the option of some whisper. And you're pretty much going to follow.
Mhm.
So on the coat, the front of the coat, you're going to follow the line, the gray line up the middle, and you're going to work it along that gray line so that it's going to be a little wonky. It's not going to be a straight line.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
So start there with
So
your
when
long
when you're working your padded stitch, I ran my stitch horizontal underneath, and I just did enough to cover like a finger's width, leaving one hole on either side of the gray and then the line of the coat. And I just added several layers of the wool, running it horizontal of the vineyard wool.
I can't find these directions.
Oh, I see. Okay, I gotcha.
So then what you're going, yes, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go through and you're going to get everything padded that you want padded. So you're going to pad the coat going horizontal, straight across, and you're going to run it from the gray line out to the edge. Then when you get to the cuff, you're going to run the cuff in the direction that the cuff runs. Your line will start here at the gray. So you'll run from the gray out to the left, or the gray with this little bit out to the right. You're going to follow that cuff line, and it will leave a delineation in the cuff that you'll be able to see the cuff difference. The collar ran, of course, out in the opposite directions that it would run.
That's Santa.
Let me.
Yours,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
makes much more
Yeah.
sense.
So here's the cuff. And as you can see, with the way it started and stopped, you can see the delineation from the inside of the cuff to the outside of the cuff.
Because you're using the same hole. Because you
Yes.
use the same hole, Andrea? And so,
Yes, I use the same hole a lot, especially in the cuffs.
and what
Yes.
is that? Just a long stitch? I don't know where we are anymore on this.
Okay, well, right now, just work on the pattern and get it padded. And then next week, we will go more over that long stitch. But right now, just work on getting your padding done and work on your coat. Don't worry about the fur. This was just a quick overview of what's to come.
How about your background? I'm still on that.
And that's fine. So now you have the background and the coat. So those would be yeah. And even you might not get the coat done by next week, and that's totally fine.
Okay.
Might not.
Michelle, for the the Threadworks Vineyard Silk, I also have in my stash a Threadworks overdyed in reds, but it's cotton, not silk. How do you think that would look on the hat if it's cotton but not silk?
I don't know. It probably would be fine. It was just going to be a different texture.
Yeah, the colors go good
You'd be
because it's
fine.
the
You'd
overdyed.
be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Shelley's got a question. Hold the press.
The blue background,
Yes, the blue background.
when I've seen it finished, it's almost gone when they, finish the top part. If we extended the blue like 2 or 3 more rows, would that help give it more blue when
You
it's
could, yeah.
finished? On the blue. Boy, I tell you, that blue was perfect for the front end, perfect for the back, and don't do your extra stitches yet in the blue. Get
Yes.
an extra one for that.
But we're not doing, the finisher doesn't want extra stitches.
Oh, they don't?
Correct,
Oh, I didn't know that.
correct. Is that still correct, Michelle?
Yeah, the one we're going to send it to does not want extra
Does
stitches.
not want extra stitches.
Yay.
So you're not going to lose anything.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
see,
Yay.
two extras.
Okay, questions, anybody?
Yeah, one thing from last week that I didn't do, I knew we were going 2 in on the back of the thing into the sack if we were putting it over, but I missed the fact I should have gone 2 in on the belt too, right?
You should have gone 2 up on the belt.
Your belt should
I
be
should have gone in.
whatever the belt is.
You have to go up and
I
down.
should have gone 2 extra rows into the sack on the belt, just like
Oh,
I'm
the
gonna do
tassel.
on the coat.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
correct.
I didn't do that. I missed doing, I knew I was doing it on the red, but
Yes.
because I hadn't gotten to the red yet, I
You're
benched
gonna
out.
cover part of the yes,
Oh,
so you're gonna
okay.
cover part of the tassel with the
Yeah,
belt
yeah,
on the back.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
catch. Yes,
But then going into the sack, I go 2 rows in to the sack with the belt, right?
yes, ma'am. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Questions? Last week, this week, next week?
Down here, that French knots.
That's a tutorial on how to do a French knot if you decide to do a French knot on the glove. Okay.
What was it really talked about? The belt wasn't.
Any other questions?
Andrea, can you just repeat that? The belt goes 2 inches into the sash?
Two
Into the,
rows.
and
Or two, I'm sorry, 2 rows, 2 rows.
Rows.
2 rows into the sack from where,
Okay.
you know, how we said you're gonna cover the,
So into the gray area. Okay.
yeah,
Thank
so
you.
cover the gray area. Yes.
She can tell us that. She said to go up last week
Yes.
into the.
And
Yes.
2 rows up into the tassel.
Yes. Then you're also gonna come in to the pouch just slightly. That's all right, I didn't either.
So I'm sorry, 2 rows each way or just into the pouch? Or
2 rows to
in-
cover the gray of the pouch.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
This one is not done that way.
Okay,
Candy can add
I
her,
didn't do it.
yes. And that was my bad because I forgot
okay.
about the belt on the back going into there.
I ran.
All right. Thank you.
My,
So yeah,
my thing was open though when I got it. I had one that was not.
Any questions?
any other questions?
Okay, so the video will be posted on our YouTube channel. And I'm gonna send out the information for that because it's private and you have to have a link for that. So the video will be out there if there's something that you need to watch again. If you are on Facebook and are not on the Two-Sided Santa page and we're not friends, send me a friend request so I can get you onto that page. I don't know why they do things the way they do, but they do. And then I'm gonna send out a new link for Monday because so many people had problems, even myself. So I'll send out a new link. And then beyond that, on the Facebook page, you'll get close-ups. There's gonna be another picture of each one of the stitches.
Okay, Michelle, I have a question. It says we're supposed to have the entice. It doesn't say what color, doesn't say anything. I'm not sure.
It should have been a green, and if you don't have it, just text me and I'll make sure that you get it.
I think I put down the wrong one. I put down the wrong one, so I just give it back. Oh, that much. I thought I didn't. Because I think I have.
We're not usually this disorganized, but it was just not getting things in on time, and you can't hold a class. You can't keep a class waiting forever.
Right. No, you did a great job with everything.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, if we waited for everything to come in, we wouldn't be starting this until August.
Oh,
So,
And we don't need everything. We only need what we need for each class.
Right.
right.
But there are a lot of people who are distant and
Yeah.
for you to, and I know it's hard, so I apologize for that.
Don't
It's
worry.
fine.
Okay.
we're working on it. So yes,
We'll manage.
if anybody
You're
wants
doing
any
a great job, and the fact that you let us ask the questions
Yeah.
is letting
Yes.
everything get synced up.
I'm here today until 4 and I'm working tomorrow 10 to 2. If anyone has any questions or wants to run in and get some help, I'm here. And then, yep.
And we'll meet again on Monday at 9:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.